Hello, I'm Iman Fuad, a third-year PhD student at INRIA. I'm working on the detection and measurement of web tracking, and today I'm happy to present to you part of our study on compliance of cookie purposes with the purpose specification principle. This presentation will be a joint presentation with Cristiana Santos, a legal scholar, and this paper is joint work with Cristiana Santos, Natalia Bilova, Firas Alcazar, and Stefano Gazzavara.
To really enforce GDPR and the Privacy Directive, any auditor needs to check the legal compliance of websites. So for example, data controllers, they need to declare the purposes of cookies they use in their websites as part of their accountability and transparency obligations. Then, data protection officers, DPOs, want scalable auditing to ensure compliance as they oversee and evaluate the lawful data processing compliance of their company's websites. Finally, data protection authorities, they need precise and scalable auditing to enable regulatory enforcement and to react towards the expansion of complaints received on a daily basis. How to define the purposes of cookies? The GDPR defines the principle of purpose specification, and this principle sets the legal requirements to define purposes. In the context of this work, purposes should be explicit, specific, and made available. Explicit means that purposes need to be expressed, revealed. It is not then enough for purposes to be available somewhere in the website. For this reason, we claim that for cookies and purposes to be clearly expressed, they should be described in a table to be easy to identify them. Specific means that purposes need to be clear and precise, with enough detail to check what kind of processing is or is not included in the purpose. So of course, purposes that are too vague or general are not allowed. For example, improving users' experience, marketing purposes, future research are not specific enough. Available means that purposes of cookies should be available to users, either in a cookie policy or in a privacy policy.
This figure summarizes all the steps that we followed in order to collect data and ensure automatic auditing of compliance with cookie purposes inside websites. The first step was to simulate user behavior and browse different websites. For that, we used OpenWPM, an open source crawler. We visited Alexa top 10,000 domains, so we kept the state of the browser and we visited for every domain the homepage and 10 first links. The call was done in February 2019 from France, and as a result of this call, we've successfully visited over 84,000 web pages. So for every web page, we've collected all the third-party cookies stored, and as a result of that, we've collected over 20,000 third-party cookies. So a third-party cookie is a cookie that is actually set by a different domain that is actually visited. And by domain, we refer to the second level TLD, such as google.com. Next, the third step was to search for the cookie policy. So for every domain that sets at least one third-party cookie in our dataset, we make an automatic search for the given domain's cookie policy. For that, we automatically automatize the Google search engine, and we search for the cookie policy followed by the domain name. So for example, if we are searching for tracker.com cookie policy, we will make an automatic search in Google search engine for cookie policy tracker.com. Then we save all the links that appears in the first page of the search result. Next, we extract all the cookies belonging to the given domain in our dataset. So in this example, since we are studying the tracker.com cookie policy, we'll extract all the cookies that appears in our dataset that belongs to tracker.com. And for every cookie, we will make a search for a description of the cookie inside the potential policies or tracker.com policies found in by the automatic search. And so we search for the cookie name inside all these links, and we save those where the cookie name appears at least once in the rendering text of the policy. As a result of our automatic auditing of the availability criteria, we found that out of the 20,000 studied third-party cookies, only 2,500 cookies are available. So only 12.8% of the studied cookies are present inside the cookie policy. Next, we evaluated the explicitness criteria, and we found that out of the 2,500 cookies that are available, only 997 cookies are present or present a description in an explicit way. These 997 cookies present 38.3% of the available cookies, but they correspond to only 5% of the total amount of the studied cookies. So here we show that only 5% of the cookies can be a subject for automatic auditing, which shows how hard it is to audit for compliance in the cookie policies. Finally, we evaluated the specificity criteria. This table presents the top 10 cookie descriptions. By occurrence, we refer to the number of times we've seen the description in our dataset. As you can see, the top 5 cookie descriptions do not give any specificity or description about the usage of the cookie. So in summary, 6 out of the 10 top cookie descriptions are not specific, but instead they provide information about the lifespan of the cookie, which is not a purpose.
How can DPAs improve specificity? DPAs should predefine and standardize purposes to minimize legal uncertainty. And how? Using taxonomies or ontologies that allow to reason about purposes, inclusions, implications, generalizations. How to improve explicitness? We have seen that only 5% of the cookies are explicit. So we argue that each cookie should have one only purpose and a legal basis tied to it. We also advocate that each cookie should be represented in a table. How to improve availability? We have seen that only around 13% of the cookies are available. We advocate that cookie policy should be available on all websites to enable transparency of processing purposes. We also advise the use of a standard relative path to enable its visibility.
Thank you for your attention. Please refer to the paper for further details, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.